Invader Guy 78 Presents. The hardest video star go hard, not soft 78. 13.837.
Hey guys, Invader78 here. This video is not going to be like really anything else I've done so far. This video, I really just want to talk about the past 15 months or so that I've spent really getting into fighting games. The people I've met, especially in the SGC, the journey that it's been of getting my ass beat over and over again, but walking away with something, hopefully, and just wanted to talk about my perception on fighting games so far, and the perception that other people I know have. And then just ranting about why maybe you should explore fighting games if you feel that they're not for you. So my first fighting game was good old Street Fighter 4. Back in, I don't fucking know. But I was a kid playing that on my dad's Xbox. Point is, it was a fun game that stuck with me, and I had a blast playing it with my siblings. I would personally regard Street Fighter 4 as my second all-time favorite fighting game. And really, I think it's the best Street Fighter. Well, what it did do for me, for sure, is ignite something. It was a spark that introduced me to this beautiful genre that only now I am really finding a passion for. But that interest never faded from me. Fighting games have always sort of been a part of my life, even as just a small thing, to occasionally play with my family. We had my dad's old SNES and a copy of Street Fighter 2 from the 90s, and played that over the years sometimes, and some nights. Blah blah, all that kind of stuff. I definitely wasn't a fighting game player like a big one, but they were there, and I played them from time to time. And then eventually there was a time when I played Smash. I want all of that time back. But even during that time, that's how I met my friends. As it turned out, the guys I met in high school also dabbled into some other things, like mainly Guilty Gear, some Dragon Ball, Street Fighter. I played Street Fighter with the math teacher. Still small at that point, like getting into fighting games. At the time, I was a fucking Smash player. But that's something I still think was worth mentioning. And now that that's all the way, and with this segment being written and recorded at like 1 a.m., let me get to what I really wanted to say.
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for...
So what I said in the transition isn't entirely the reason I like fighting games. That's a bit more of a skullgirls thing. But it's a piece of the puzzle for every game. And I'd like to make this the first segment to say that. What I like most about fighting games is expression. They're some of the most expressive games out there, and I don't just mean flashy combos and epic supers. I have some friends who don't play any fighting games. Actually, they have quite a bit of vitriol for them, and this is what they think. Hard combos that surely they can never do seem to be the first thing people think about. But there's so much more. You can see the way your opponent plays. There's expression of individual personalities, expressing the respect or lack thereof for an opponent. Telling them, no, fuck your fake mix, your J's fake too. There's expressing your playstyle and the thought process, and whatever emotions are building up in a match that are getting to someone that you can see leak into their gameplay. But the bottom line of all that is that it still takes skill to be able to express yourself. When you're new and dog shit at the game, you're kinda like everyone else. Lost at the start of the road, yet to have left your own trail. It's that road that really sets this genre apart. Sure, you might learn the same basics as everyone else, but eventually you incorporate everything you learn in your own way. You pick the characters that fit you or speak to you the most. You pick Dr. Doom, and so on. What I love about this road is it's all yours. Everything on this road is on you. There are no other people to blame, or to get angry at, or to bother you. It's just you and your opponent, and it's up to you to be more better than them. Notice that what I didn't say was that you're on your own. Because in fighting games, you're never alone. You can always find a community. People who will beat your ass to the ground, but tell you why they were able to do that. Opponents who you can take tech from or people who even learn from you. You walk your own path that is purely yours, but you can see everyone else walking theirs. You're not alone. Fighting games remind you of this. And more than anything, demand you to be yourself. Demand you to be confident. And remind you to not be alone in your journey.
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride.
As I alluded to earlier, you are not alone in fighting games. But I don't necessarily mean that you just have an opponent that you're playing against. Playing against Quick Match Timmy isn't really going to take you anywhere. It's not enough. And even playing Quick Match with someone cool won't do you much quickly. What I think is important to do, even in the popular big games at the moment where it's easy to find games with randoms, is to really find a community of people you can game with. These are still gamers, and gamers tend to have the ability to immaculately never read and never take the fall for anything they do wrong. So I think it would be important for you, if you want to get into these games and not feel alone, is to do it with friends, or cool parts of a community with good gamers, cool gamers, and not gamer derogatory. These are the kinds of people who will make sure that you are not alone for the ride, because boy, will you be taken for a ride. You might also want to bring your friends along with you too. If you successfully do so, good on you. I hope you have the best time, I really do. But it can be a tricky thing to get a lot of people into fighting games. They could ruin friendships worse than Uno and Mario Kart if someone lets it get to their head. I myself had a history of letting some games bring out the worst in me. I admit that I'm a pretty toxic guy. But I have enough passion to fight it. But other times, you can definitely have friends that just aren't built for it, or just do not allow themselves to see the vision. It's always a bummer when you can't bring your friends into this genre, but that's when it's time to make new friends. You might have noticed from my channel that I am very passionate about the games I play. I don't really play that many games, certainly just a handful, but I like to talk about them, delve into them, and share that experience. So while many of my friends played some of the games I did, basically no one shared the passion I have for fighting games. I've seen some hate, even vitriol, and it might even happen to you too, your friends, but I could also just be talking out of my ass. It just pains me that it's hard to get otherwise like-minded people into something that I like. So if your friends say no, don't be afraid to look for a wider community. There are plenty of players in your shoes who want to keep their head up and will walk the same road you will. Or who will beat your ass but be nice about it. I hope many others do get to share that experience and see fighting games for the magical genre of bullshit and expression that they are. They're a dead simple premise. You hit your opponent enough times before they hit you enough times so that you lose. But it leads to a dance of strategy and random bullshit clashing. And it's a battle between you being a patience fan or just going fuck it, we ball. And there's always room to improve. But I guess it's always a little sad that people look at the fact that this genre is about improving your skills and a combination of strategy and guerrilla gameplay. And people get filtered before even learning what that feels like. Ooh, motion inputs are scary. It's hard to remember them. Oh, I don't want to lose. But I think it's not the fear of a loss per se, just accountability. I see some gamers saying that they don't like fighting games for these reasons, and then play shooters that they fucking hate, and I've not once ever seen them be happy about it. Taking W's, being angry, and talking shit. Or even worse, that fighting games are boring. Or that they're all the same, and you just press buttons. Honestly, if these two gamers specifically, yes, you know who you are, I'm talking to you. If you even got to this part of the video, what the fuck are you doing here? Get out of here, get some taste. Anywho, with that backhanded segment on the Centaurus I know out of the way, the last thing I want to address is for those who maybe had an interest, but perhaps are warded off. If the feeling of loss and the feeling of having to put in so much time to get good into these games scares you, I do have something to say for you. Every time you lose, that's just something you learn from. I know it's really cliche. You've probably heard it a million times. It's really true. Something you now know that is in the game you choose to play exists. You've seen it. And something you will have an eye out for, or maybe even steal yourself. I guarantee you, the person who beat your ass, especially if they are experienced, has failed horribly more times than you have thought about even playing the game. Because we all start somewhere. We all put in the time. And I do mean that sincerely. And that's another thing, the time investment. It's okay. If you really are passionate, all it takes is just 30 minutes a day. If anything, taking it slow and consistent, just a quick session a day, is better for you in the long run. Take your time. Enjoy the game. A first to 10 takes about 30 minutes, but labbing for 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes of just reading and watching some videos or talking to other players. That's all it takes. If you really care, that 30 minutes is time anyone can make. I encourage you to be a cool gamer. Contribute to the community and love the game more than anything. That's all I have to say for today.